But I think oftentimes that, much like our Heavenly Father, the more time you spend, the more time you're communing, the more time you are just in that moment, the easier it is to hear from God. It's easier to receive from God. And it's easier to have conversations with God. Yeah. One of the things, and we haven't gotten to this just yet, is that communication requires you to be honest. Open and honest communication between husband and wife has to be without fear and without, fear of repercussions or retaliation. It has to be from a place of like, listen, I am saying these things because I want it to get better. I'm saying these things because I want us to move from here to here. Or I'm saying these things because right now I don't know what to do and I need your help. I'm saying these things because, you know what, I need someone to talk to. And I think oftentimes our communication, whether it's spiritual, whether it's physical, oftentimes gets severed or blocked because we never approach it from a place of honesty. Like sometimes it's hard to be like, Lord, I need your help because I can't live without you. Mm-hmm. In your life, how many times have you ever really said those words, Lord, I can't live without you? I'm not asking to answer it, okay. But it's a rhetorical question. Yeah. Like, because there's always something in between that. True communication with God has to come from a place without being afraid, or knowing that God will hear you and answer you.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? So, typically, generally, more than occasionally, Christians are good people.
Or right? They try to be.
Right. So when you have that relationship with the Lord, there's not usually anger or hate in there. There's not usually resentment. There's not usually negativity. So when you speak, you typically, if you are of that good nature, you typically speak nice words. That's not always the case, though. So I could be a Christian and not spend time with the Lord, and my word level is down, and I forget to say nice words.
Or, agreed. And I think sometimes it has to be, we talked about being genuine, and we talk about being transparent and open and honest. Jeremiah 29:12 in the Message Bible says, when you call on me, when you come and pray to me, I'll listen.
Yeah.
Verse 13 and 14 says, when you come looking for me, you'll find me. And yes, and when you get serious about finding me and want it more than anything else, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed. Like that right there is amazing because it talks about seeking him, communing with him from a position of absolute desperation, absolute need, like seeking God like your lungs seek air.
Right.
You know, and I think sometimes, and we kind of talk about this, and I use this phrase a lot, is that sometimes our relationship with God is very casual and not intentional. We have a casual conversation.
Yeah.
We have a casual relationship. It's one of those, this is a Sunday morning
Right.
relationship.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your status?
Right. It's complicated.
Yeah, as opposed to, no, I'm in a committed relationship
Right,
here.
right.
And I think that, our communication has to be key to making sure, that was a very deliberate page turn there, to get us to where God wants us to be. His communication leads us to a path of receiving all that he has for us. Communication with God is literally GPS so that we can get to where he's trying to get us to go.
Oh, that's good.
You like that?
Yeah, I did.
Right off the cuff.
Uh-huh.
See that? Boys got it. And I think right now, one of the questions here is, what prevents us from communicating with God, or what prevents us from being consistent? I think we've kind of been talking around this a little bit. Is just, like our dedication to him and our need to seek after him has to be something that we need to really focus in on. We have to, like that deer panting after the water brook, what are we really seeking him for? How do we want to make this
You're
work?
talking about, like, so you asked, let me answer your question. What prevents the communication with him consistently? And I think it's sometimes our own not knowing. I think I pray every day and I'm silent and I don't hear you. And did you ever see this thing? It's
There it is. It took a while for it to happen.
we're like minutes into this too. The signs, Lord, show me a sign, and it's like, don't do it, stop, turn left, and you're still, no, like it's that kind of thing, right? And you miss it because you want to go your own path, because your GPS, you're following. We don't have the rights to that either. You're following this one, and I'm following that one, right? But we're going to the same. Oh, remember we were coming back from Virginia, and you were going to use the one app, and I was using the other. We were two different things. It's the same thing. Like it's we're not hearing what we want to hear.
So we don't listen.
So we don't listen, and then we stop praying, and then I'm nasty to people, and then I'm not getting what I want, and then I'm just like, forget it.
So
I don't need you.
no, I think it's really good. So very much like our natural lives, we are listening to respond, but not listening to understand.
You're so guilty of that. You are so, because I just want to tell you, like, let me just tell you about my day. Just hear my day. You're like, who are they? Where are they?
Wait, hold on. Wait, stop. That hurts.
What happened?
The bus that just ran over me.
No. Listen. Generally, I don't want to say generally, but that's a really good thing because you're a protector. So that's a really good thing. But you always listen to, I don't want to say always. You most of the time listen to respond or listen to react instead of just hear. Just be.
Yeah.
Just listen to what I'm saying, because I just want to share it with you, because you may have a similar experience and then we can talk about it. But instead, you're always like, who are they? Like, I want to take care of it right now. Right. And I want.
Do I sound like that?
You sound like the
What are you gonna take about that? I turned into the hawk.
Like people listen to respond, and you always listen to fix.
Right.
Right, and it's not like I don't necessarily need that. Like we don't necessarily need that. We just want you just to listen. And if I don't always get the right reaction from you, then I'll be it.
Then you'll kind of tap me back into reality.
Right.
No, I mean I think. Well, one, I apologize if that's
Don't.
consistent
I mean, we're working on
behavior. No, I mean I think it's important. True communication, like we were talking about before, requires honesty, both naturally and spiritually. And a lack of honesty on both sides of the fence causes us to have impaired communication. It's cloudy, it's fuzzy. We think we're actually really communicating, but we're actually talking at someone
Yeah.
or something. We think we're, communicating, and we're really just speaking words. We're not getting to the heart of the matter. We're not really getting results from the end of this communication. True communication with God will always yield results, will always end in either an answer, direction, or encouragement. And sometimes you're going to get chastisement out of it also. But there's always going to be an end result there. And typically, if we are listening to understand, not just a laundry list of complaints to God, if we're listening, we're always going to receive something that's going to put us in a better position.
It might not be what you want, though.
Well, I mean, as a child, I would always ask for things from my parents, and it may not have always been, the end result may not have been what I wanted. But it's okay. Sometimes the answer is going to be no. Or not yet. Or wait. Or is that really what you want? So I think those are some of the things that you have to take into account also. We talked about transparency or a lack thereof that impairs our communication with God and with other folks. I know that we wanted to make sure that if our communication with God is right, I think speaking to other folks should become easier.
Yeah.
As we apply the same principles, to do that. Colossians 3, 8 through 10, and this is in the Good News Translation. I know that's your favorite. We finally got there. Let's find this real fast, and we can kind of talk about this a little bit and get close to putting this thing to bed here. So Colossians chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Make sure I'm in the Message Bible. Sorry.
Put away any hindrances that may cause
There
us
you go.
to be unclear. Not open. Don't hold on to the past because it will block your future.
Perfect. Now you must get rid of all of these things: anger, passion, hateful feelings. No insults or obscene talk must ever come from your lips. Do not lie to one another, for you have put off the old self with its habits and have put on the new self. This is the new being which God, its creator, is constantly renewing in his own image in order to bring you to a full knowledge of himself. I like that a lot. We talked about, when we're talking to other folks, bringing up, those old pasts, those hurts, that anger, whatever. We have to get to a point where we're having conversations just, like, hey, I'm not coming with an agenda.
Yeah.
Like, let's just talk.
Yeah.
And I like Colossians 3 about putting away those hindrances that may cause us to be unclear, not open. Don't hold on to the past because it'll block your future.
Yeah, I like that.
When we first started talking about this, you were saying that oftentimes we don't have honest conversations, or we just don't say the thing when we're talking with each other for fear of whatever, reprisal, of not being understood, of not being liked. For whatever reason, there's something that's blocking us from really having meaningful conversations. It's a waste of time to talk to someone and not have it be meaningful.
Yeah.
We talk about intentionality, like words matter, and I want every interaction that we have to blossom into something else.
Yeah. Somebody said at work, make every phone call with an intention.
Correct.
Don't just call people like what we in our line of work, right? Don't just call people just to shoot the breeze, obviously, right? You're calling specifically for an intention.
Right.
And we should do that. We should frame our conversations around that same thing. And we joke about this. Like you'll hear us joke about like just be. Like we say that all the time because I don't know, like he wanted to do something one night and I don't know if it was like that married type of thing where I was just like, just be here. Like, I don't want you to do anything else. Like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to be. Like, just be here with me.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk. You know who was like that? Oh, I can't say it. Never mind. We have a friend like that just, it was okay because we talk all day long, right? And just be together at night.
Yeah.
Like, we have a mutual friend that's like that. Like, they just want to hang and not necessarily talk.
Yeah.
I think that's important because it's just time spent. And that's what I said back about the silence, right? When you're just sitting in the silence and hearing the Lord.
That still small
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's sometimes where we miss because you're always looking for like that big hit. Mm-hmm. Like you're always looking for like, boom, here's your car that you've been praying for. And it doesn't happen like that, right? This is about those signs. It happens because we prayed for it. We put it out there. And God's answers to prayers are always yes. It's on his timing, though. It's never on our timing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's about like, this is, and I have to use this car as an example, like when you're purchasing a car. We spoke about, for how long have we been talking about a new car? Like we've talked about it probably for about 2 years. Like we knew, right? Like,
yeah, we need to.
yeah, well, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the ones we have, right? The whole thing. It wasn't our time, right? And like, this is what we want. We knew exactly what we were looking for. And God's like, no. Oh, but we need it. No. What do you mean? And we kept having this conversation. And it wasn't until it was his timing, right, is when that happened. And I think people fail to realize, and that's when that, right, that's just what I was saying. So like the car, we didn't just pray, Tuesday, and boom, Wednesday morning we went outside and the car was there.
Yeah.
Right, there was like a process. There was a learning curve. Like when I tell you 2 years, it was 2 years before, we even thought about it, like really going out and purchasing a new car. But that's the way the Lord works. Like you got to work on saving money. You got to work on your credit. You got to work on this. You got to find what you're looking for. I'm just not going to give you a car. You can't even deal with the one that you got. That kind of thing. And it wasn't until you're ready that he's going to give you what you're looking for. And that's what I mean about his timing. But if you don't have that communication, you're just going to be out there like floundering.
Yeah.
Right? Like I knew what I want. I want to do this. And you miss the big thing.
No, I think you're right.
I need to go back though, because
Sure.
you talked about Colossians 3, and it says, put away any hindrances that may cause you unbelief and do not hold on to the past. So you said in the very beginning that you pray for help. And you said when we were first talking about this, help me be a better me. What did you say?
Lord, don't let me be me.
Lord, what does that mean? So now, because we're going to record this so I can go back and rehash this later.
Yeah, you'll store it away in the Rolodex. That's your
I
brain.
will. Yeah, I'll find it.
And you'll definitely.
What does
throw
that
this out
mean?
there.
Because I think that I disagree with you on it, because I'm just going to overtalk you and not let you answer.
That's totally fine. That's okay. I think for me, my conversation or my prayer, like "Don't let me be me," is really more about sort of denying my natural feeling. Like sometimes it is difficult for me to be kind.
I was going to say, don't say nice. Okay, kind. All right.
I think
Really?
sometimes my natural inclination isn't to do that. Like I honestly feel that Dave, without any divine intervention, without God Himself, the Holy Spirit living in my life, being active every single moment, is a very fractured person. And the prayer is like, Lord, I am constantly wanting to be better. Make me a better person. Lord, give me your guidance so that I don't fall into those natural traps. Like I think don't let me be me is really asking, Lord, I need more of you. I mean, if we think about it in those terms, because the natural part of me does not seek the better of people, does not see, kindness all the time, does not have flowery speech. Like I know what I could be like without His hand on my life.
Yeah.
And it is a very scary place.
That's interesting. I don't see that all the time. Like
I'm really good at hiding it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
That's called internalizing.
Well, what I will say is that I used to be very good at hiding it, because now the prayer is different, but it's still there. Like Lord, like we talk about this deer panting after the water brook. Lord, I need more of you, so there's none of me.
So I have seen some of that. I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? I have seen some of that. Can't you use your words and change that? Like,
Certainly.
do it intentionally.
Yeah, and I think just like anything else, like when you say, "Hey, I want to drop some LBs," or "I want to, I want to learn more, I want to read more," or we plan it out. I mean, I think those words have power, and it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I think the conversation has been, instead of "Don't let me be me," like, Lord, this is what I want. This is where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that all of my interactions with people are good.
Yeah.
Like I keep falling back to sort of the life events that we've had the last 2 years, the changes at work and things things of that nature. And I think that period of time, that 18 months taught me to be a different person, where I had to really fully examine who I was to be to be a better person. And I think that that's something that you constantly have to do almost in real time.
So here's what I'm guilty of, and I think you're going to put the hammer on this in a second. I found when I have downtime or I'm doing administrative work that I don't need my mind and I'm just like copying and pasting, I can do other things. Right? I could watch a video on YouTube. Right? Don't tell my bosses this. And I just have it playing in the background. I noticed that those things that I was watching were not edifying my spirit.
Right.
So what I did was just shut it down. Like I just shut it off.
So that was a different form of communication. And, it could be conscious, subconscious,
Right.
verbal,
Yeah.
nonverbal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all types of modes of communication.
Right.
So I think you're onto something here.
Yeah.
About just how you feed yourself.
Yeah.
Or how you're communing,
Yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally.
Right.
Maybe I'm not sure if that's where you're going, but
Well,
that's kind of what I was
I'm
going
saying.
for.
So instead of watching cruise videos, I put on, right, surprise.
Oh, man.
I would put on, our stuff. I would
Yeah.
watch, our Wolfsy all the time. I have messages playing, or I have, I'd find a preacher that I like, and I'd listen to their sermons, and I noticed that, I wasn't being intentional, and I heard myself like opposite than you, and it's funny, we are total opposites when we talk about that. Like
That's why we click so well.
kind of like you're very boastful and proud, and you know that you're great and awesome, and I'm the total opposite. Like I'm never good enough, right? And I feel
Well, I don't believe that.
well, and I feel like I'm never good enough, and I'm never going to amount to anything. Not thinking like what I do, and I had to stop.
Yeah.
Right, I had to
Right.
stop. Like, what am I doing? And I had somebody tell me, they're like, "Why are you doubting yourself?" Someone who don't know me at all. They're like, "Why are you doubting yourself?"
Right.
Like you've come a long way,
Sure.
and you're coachable and moldable and these kind of things. I'm like, but I'm not, and I'm not this, and I'm not that. Who cares? So I found myself like kind of reconnecting and pulling back closer to the Lord and letting that stuff go and being intentional on purpose.
Right.
Right, and I told you, yelling at the kids in the morning to get them out to school, or somebody's got to help me with dinner. Like, this is what I was doing. I would literally wake up in the morning, do all those things that we don't talk about, right, and then go off to work, get up from my office, and then walk into the kitchen, and then start my second full-time job as a mom and a wife.
Right.
Right, and I heard myself.
Yeah.
And I heard myself. And instead of trying to be a hero and take it all on, I'm tired.
Yeah. Someone's got to tag in here.
Like, yeah. And I would just call out, I'm off duty. Like somebody else has got to step in. You walked past your dad to ask me if you can have a cookie. Like I'm literally in bed and you walk past your dad to ask for that.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
So I heard myself, right? So I started asking for help. I started asking for help from you, from Jada, from Callie.
Sure.
We have able-bodied people in our house, and I'm like, I'm not doing this on my own. And not because I'm a bad mom, I'm teaching them life lessons right here.
But you had to communicate to them what you wanted.
Right, exactly. Don't take it all on yourself. Ask for help, and make sure that they know that you're praying, because that's what's going to frame their foundation.
Exactly.
So now we learned by example, right? So now the kids see us pray. Right, they help around the house. They know when mommy's going nuts, like something's wrong, and they need to step in.
Yeah.
And it's intentional now. And I think now that we have opened the line of communication where we're able to receive from the Lord, and we pant after Him, or we're looking for those things, it now makes our house is a lot less quieter. I'm not yelling. When mommy's yelling, things aren't good.
Yeah, it's definitely you're definitely off kilter.
Right. So I think it's important that we keep those lines of communications open, and then we speak those nice words out of our mouths to each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. We were talking about Colossians 4, 5, and 6 about let your interactions be wise with each other.
Yeah.
Making sure that, the words that you speak are edifying. I think everything that you just said, and we'll summarize and wrap up a little bit, really talks about...
It's like our third close, by the way.
Yeah, third close.
If anybody's listening.
Really talks about how you are shaping your own behavior when you realize that the words that you speak and your communication with God has an immense effect on your life.
Yeah.
And, like James 1:19 says, remember this, dear friends, everyone must be quick to listen, be slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Human anger does not achieve God's righteous purpose. So get rid of every filthy habit and all wicked conduct. Submit to God and accept the word that he plants in your hearts, which is able to save you. He can't plant a word in your heart if you're not speaking to each other.
Right.
I mean, it's as simple as that. When you realize, like Matthew 12:36 talks about, you're going to have to give an account for every word that you've ever spoken.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like,
I'm not ready.
He wasn't ready. Proverbs 16:24 in the Good News translation talks about your gracious words are like honey. In fact, you know what? Here, real, like, let's just go to it real quick because I don't want to gloss over it because I love the way it describes it. So here, real fast, Proverbs. Where am I going?
16 and 24.
16 and 24. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the taste, and good for your health. I like that. I like that a lot. Luke 6:45 talks about out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. Okay. So ultimately, your communication with God has to live not only on your lips, but in your heart as well. Yeah. And as we continue to practice the presence of God, as we continue to spend more time with him, we get to that point where it's not difficult, right, where things start to fall into lockstep. When we were putting our notes here, you put up Proverbs 15:1 through I think it was 4, and this one I'll let you read. I'm sorry.
Oh, but it's over there now.
I'll tee you up because I think it's perfect to end. Like I think it's a good spot. Can you?
I can say that's
okay.
Fine. Where am I reading to?
It's from 1 to 4.
A gentle answer quiets anger, but a harsh one stirs it up. When wise people speak, they make knowledge attractive, but stupid people spout nonsense. The Lord sees what happens everywhere, and he's watching us, whether we do good or evil. Kind words bring life, but cruel words crush your spirit.
You know, righteous people keep their wealth, but the wicked lose theirs when the hard times come. It's because of that constant communication with God that insulates you from having disaster strike.
Yeah.
You know, and and I think that as we continue to move on, as we continue to grow, as we continue to walk this path that we're on, we have to make sure that we continue to practice the presence of God. We have to continue to practice communicating with him from a true place of honesty, and making sure that we pull that through to everything that we do. It profits us nothing to just have one-sided communication with God, but also to sit and listen. Yeah. You know, it's like, hey, listen, when you call, I will answer. Yeah. But you gotta listen too. And I think that's what we're trying to get to and what we've accomplished. It's been fun. I appreciate you, hit me with a couple city buses. So thank you. Looks like I got some homework to work on.
So we're like extremely transparent here, and this is where I can get you where you can't talk back to me. So I'm gonna just put it out there when we're here. I'm gonna ask to do more of these.
Oh yeah. Well, you might have to do them by yourself. But no, I'm all kidding aside. I mean, I think this has been great, and it's a good lesson, especially just for us. I'm saying it's a good lesson. No, but I think this has been beneficial for me. Yeah. Hopefully for you.
It is.
Hopefully for you. Anything else, dear?
Nope.
We're all good? Well, hopefully you've enjoyed the word today. We appreciate your time. We love spending some time with you and hanging out with you, and we look to see you real soon. God bless.
Bye.
We thank you for joining us for service today. Before we leave, we would like to give you the opportunity to know Jesus. It's as simple as ABC. I accept God and I acknowledge the sins in my life. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and I commit my life to you. If you said that simple prayer, we believe that you've been born again. Welcome to the family.